Word's spelling and grammar checker is extremely useful for correcting your work before you share it with others. In this lesson, you learn to ignore correctly spelled words, correct spelling errors, and correct grammar errors. We need to check the spelling and grammar in our press release, and to do that, we'll use the spelling and grammar pane to identify and correct any mistakes. And when we're finished, our document will no longer display any red error flags. Let's get started. Word has already flagged several possible misspellings in our document, including Bridget Surrett's last name here in the headline and down here in the body text. We know that it's spelled correctly though, so in step 1, we'll tell Word to ignore it. I'll right-click Surrett in the headline, and on this shortcut menu, Word suggests several alternate spellings, none of which are correct. So in step 2, I'll click Ignore All, and that tells Word not to flag Surrett as misspelled in this document. And before we continue, if your name is flagged as a spelling or grammar error, just right-click it and click Ignore All or Ignore Once. In step 3, we'll check spelling and grammar in the rest of the document. I'll press Control-Home to move the insertion point back to the top, and we want to do that so that Word begins checking the document from the beginning. Next, on the ribbon, I'll click the Review tab, and over here in the Proofing group, I'll click the Spelling and Grammar button. The spelling pane opens over here, identifying the word inaugural as misspelled and suggesting the correct spelling here. In step 4, to accept the suggestion, I'll click Change. In the document, inaugural is now spelled correctly, and in the pane, Word has identified gas lamp as a possible misspelling, suggesting that it should be separated into 2 words. But in this case, the proper name gas lamp quarter is spelled correctly. So in step 5, I'll click Ignore. The pane next indicates that the word are is repeated. And of course, this is a mistake. So in step 6, in the pane, I'll click Delete. The second occurrence of are is deleted, and as you can see, the spelling and grammar check is now complete. So in step 7, I'll click OK. I'll press Control-Home, and then I'll save the document. And it's important to remember that even though the spelling and grammar checker identifies many common errors, you can't rely on it to find everything. So be sure to always proofread your work carefully. To try these steps yourself and for some additional tips, and to learn how you can create your own autocorrect entries to insert text in a document, turn to page Word 34 in your book.